Good morning, everybody. Hope you're well today. Thursday. That means it's a special guest day in the hive. Really looking forward to tonight's guest. I look forward to all the guests, actually. They all bring something different and something wonderful. And tonight we have Jack Horner coming in, otherwise known as Leon the Pig Farmer. That's his stage name. He's a performance poet, a beat poet you might say, and much of his stuff is about mental health work. Much of his art is about his own mental health journey. So I'll let him tell the story this evening. Suffice to say, it involves a breakdown. Whether you like that word or not, it could be a little bit... Yeah, there's something a little bit uncomfortable for me with the word breakdown, but I'll let him categorise it as he wishes. And PTSD as well. So he's going to talk about his mental health journey and share some of his poetry and how, he's titled the talk, Sanctuary and Solace in the Spoken Word. Lots of, is that assonance or alliteration? Perhaps a bit of both. Thinking back to my English teaching days and English learning days. Anyway, hope you're well today, and I hope you can join us for Leon/Jack at 8 o'clock. Am I right in thinking that we don't clap anymore? Are we not clapping now? So it will be 8 o'clock rather than 8:05. Join us if you can, and if you can't, maybe you can watch it back another time. So, today, I wonder how you are treating yourself at the moment. Still challenging times. It still might feel a little bit strange. All this pandemic gubbins. Gubbins, one of my favourite words, that. So I wonder how you're treating yourself. And I also wonder if you're telling other people how you truly feel. So, two different angles to look at today. So, self-care in a holistic sense, I suppose. This is something that I've lifted and adapted, and I won't say improved, just changed a bit from the Finding Love course that I did last weekend. We did a kind of self-assessment of how we've been treating ourselves over the past week or month. So maybe you can give yourself a score out of 10 for each of these different elements that I'm going to invite you to look at in an honest but non-judgmental way. So I don't want you to be beating yourself up, but just to kind of take a look at the last week and think about how kind or unhelpful you have been to your own well-being in these different aspects of yourself. So I think self-care is crucial, but sometimes we can be our own worst enemies. I know that. I've been there. I still go there sometimes. So I think the first one to look at is how we talk to ourselves, which I think is crucial. I've put a couple of comments on the hive, just kind of lightly challenging people about how they've been talking about themselves. An example being that sometimes people say, they will offer something of themselves, share some of their experience, and then they might say, oh, that's enough of me waffling, or I'm talking nonsense, you don't want to listen to me. And I don't know, there's something for me a little contracting about that kind of language, something that makes us feel small, like we shouldn't be heard, or our voice isn't valid. And the voice that we use to ourselves, we internalise, and even if we've got a sense of humour around it, if we've got our tongue in our cheek whilst we're saying, oh, don't listen to me, I'm just an idiot, I don't know anything, oh, I'm so stupid, I do this all the time. I went for a walk with a friend yesterday and she took a tumble. She said, oh, I'm so clumsy, I'm such a clumsy klutz. And I thought, well, you are calling yourself clumsy there. It's like you're defining yourself as a clumsy person. We can all be clumsy at times. We're human, we make mistakes. That doesn't mean we are clumsy. We can all make mistakes in what we do, what we say, how we treat ourselves. It doesn't mean we are the mistake. It doesn't mean that we're not valid. We're just humans who make mistakes. So I just invite you to give yourself a score out of 10. Maybe you can write this down. Like Hugo's interactive activity on Monday. It's good to have an activity, somebody said. So maybe you can score yourself. There's how many different categories I've got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to say 7. We're going for the magnificent 7. And give yourself a score out of 10. And then maybe if you can work on these, work on the ones that you want to work on over the course of the next week. And then you can see where you are again this time next week. Maybe I can do this exact same walk and talk in a week's time and see if you have improved in any areas. And if you haven't, don't worry, don't beat yourself up. So the first one, how are you talking to yourself? Are you talking to yourself kindly, or are you beating yourself up or belittling yourself? And what I would invite you to do is, if you don't do it already, talk to yourself as you would your best friend. So if you had a best friend who made a mistake or was in a tricky position, struggling with mental health issues, struggling with relationships, whatever it is, how would you talk to them? I imagine you would be kind and compassionate, empathetic and sympathetic to their plight. And I imagine you wouldn't be saying, "Oh, you stupid klutz." So give yourself a score and then see if you can be kinder to yourself over the next week, like you would to your best friend. Celebrate your successes as well. I think us British people are not great at doing that. Humility is wonderful, but when we don't acknowledge our successes, morning, and the things that we've done well, again, it's a sense of belittling ourselves. We might do it to our best friend. "Well done, you've achieved that. You've done really well today." But maybe we don't do it so much to ourselves. So that's the first one, how we talk to ourselves. The next one is sleep and rest. Absolutely crucial to our holistic well-being, mental health, physical health, regeneration of the body, giving our brain time to rest and process. So, are you going to bed too late? Are you getting up too early? Are you laying in bed too long? I don't know, I'm not going to be the judge of it for you. You know how much sleep and rest you need. But maybe you're one of these people who overworks 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, doesn't switch off. And maybe you're doing that because it's a passion, or maybe you're doing it because it's a habit, or maybe you're doing it because you feel other people expect it of you, or that's how you get some self-esteem. But you may not be doing yourself any favours if you're overworking. Or maybe you do what I used to do, and still do from time to time, which is to stay up too late, procrastinating about going to bed. And maybe you binge watch on Netflix, or you get on your laptop or your iPad and start scrolling, entering a rabbit hole of endless dogs on skateboards. And again, I'm not judging you, but maybe you can give yourself a score for how much rest and sleep you are getting. Just be honest. If you're doing well, brilliant, 10 out of 10. If you think you can do better, just acknowledge it. And out of self-care, self-love for yourself, see if you can shuffle some things around, change your approach, and get more rest, get more sleep. Even if it's just do you know what? I need to sit down for 15 minutes in the afternoon. I'm just going to have a bit of a break. Have a meditate. Have a cup of tea. Whatever you want to do. So that's number 2. Number 3. Consumption. So I'm talking here food, water, alcohol, drugs. And again, just be honest. How are you doing? Are you eating too much? Many people are, as I said on a walk a few days ago. It's a form of comfort sometimes, especially in these anxiety-inducing times. Swapping the arm over. It's amazing how heavy a phone gets after 5 minutes of holding it out in front of you. So how are you doing with your food? Quantity and quality. Are you eating too much? Are you eating too much fat, too much sugar? Sugar is so addictive. And I totally get it. You know, if you're reaching for the Oreos, or the jelly babies, or the banana loaf, blooming heck, do you know what? I am eating an average of 1 banana loaf per day at the minute. But there we go. Hopefully I'm burning a lot of it off with all my walking and running that I'm doing. Oops. So yeah, not just the food, also water. Are you sufficiently hydrated? Did you know you're supposed to drink 2 litres of water per day? Good tip from me. Always have a source of water in front of you, wherever you are. If you're working from home, you're at an office, wherever you are, take a flask or have a pint. Try and drink 4 pints over the course of a day. And another positive of doing that is it makes you go to the toilet. You might think of that as a nuisance, but actually it gets you out of your chair if you are one of those people who spends a lot of time at a desk, sat down. So you have to get up to go to the loo. It's good to get up once an hour, have a stretch, move around. So food, water, and other substances such as alcohol, drugs. How are you doing? I'm not judging you. Maybe you can just give yourself a score out of 10. Say, yeah, do you know what? Quantity and quality, pretty good at the minute. Or maybe you can see some areas of improvement that you want to work on. This is not about me telling you what to do. It's just to bring a bit of awareness, and then you can scan through your life and decide if you want to change anything. So that's the next one, food. What comes after that? That wasn't food, sorry, that was consumption. Body, your body. How are you treating your body? I'm thinking of movement here now. So we all need to move our bodies. And many of us have quite static lives, especially if you work in an office or if you're working from home sat at a desk. Are you moving your body? Are you doing something every day? Getting your 10,000 steps? Doing some yoga maybe? Going for a run? We need to move our bodies. And one of the commitments I made to myself on the Finding Love course was to dance more. I love a dance, and I've been dancing quite a lot, pretty much every day I think, having a little kitchen disco or a lounge disco. Apologies to the neighbours if you're watching. This week I've mostly been listening to The Prodigy, bit of old school rave. Powerful stuff, it's good for moving the body. And also Shader, who did that cover of the Simple Minds classic that I posted a few days back. So yeah, it's good. Have a dance. Get that body moving. And how are you doing with that? How are you doing with moving your body? Are you playing? Are you using your body to play? Have a game of Tig with your kids if you've got any. If not, knock on the neighbour's door. See if they fancy a game of Tig with a 2 metre long stick. Oh, the image. And things like massage. You know, if you've got someone who's living with you, maybe you can ask them for a massage. There's no harm in asking to get your needs met. I have one once per month when we're not in lockdown, and I'm missing my monthly massage. So maybe if you've got someone living with you, they could have a go for you. It's nice to feel that skin on skin, and also just to get the benefit of a bit of loosening of those tight muscles. Very relaxing. So that's that one, body. 3 more to go. Creativity is next. Artistic expression. We're all creative. So many people get the message drummed into them, or they introject the message in childhood that I am not creative. Don't believe you. I believe we're all creative. We're not all wonderful artists, but art is very subjective. It's in the eye of the beholder, just like beauty. And we can all do something creative, whether that is with paint or clay or music, folding up bits of paper, origami, whatever it is, photography, acting, dancing. Are you nurturing your creative expression? Are you doing something that you love, something that you're passionate about, and preferably making it public? Could be a behavioural stretch for you there. Take some photos, put them on your Facebook page. I don't mean photos of your cat, I mean, something artistic. You could have an artistic photo of your cat. So how are you doing? Give yourself a score out of 10 for creative expression. It's part of who you are, and it is within you, I promise you. If you think you're not artistic, I do not believe you. Unlock it, give it a go. Penultimate one is real relationships, so relationships of depth. And here I'm talking about how you really feel, giving an authentic register of yourself in a safe, non-judgmental environment, such as we have on the Hive, I'm hoping, Man Tuesday, the book club, all of this stuff. We try to nurture an environment where we can say what's really going on for us. Talk about mental health, relationships, challenges, just how we really are, what is really going on for us. So how are you doing with that? How many people have you got that you can phone up or Zoom or have a chat over the hedge to and really be yourself without fear of judgment? How many people do you open up to in this way? And the guys on the Finding Love workshop said that we need a minimum of 6 to 8 people to do this with. So it's no good if it's just one best friend. What if they go away on holiday? What if they're having a tough time and they can't empathetically support you? 6 to 8 people, and upwards to a village. They say it takes a village to raise a child, or maybe it takes a village to support an adult as well. And it's a lovely sense of community that I'm feeling around my way at the minute. I've got various little communities, and it does feel like a supportive village, so I'm very grateful for that. So give yourself a score out of 10. How are you doing with your real relationships of depth? And authenticity and vulnerability is the key word here, I reckon. So that's most of the internal stuff for yourself. Give yourself a score for each of those categories around your holistic self-care. And the other thing I wanted to talk about, which is, thank you, brilliant stuff, thank you, which is kind of connected to this, but this is more external. This is what we give out. And swapping arms again, it's like a relay. Left arm, right arm. By gum. So, I wonder, when we're talking about other people, how often do you tell them how you feel about them? How often do you give them an authentic register of your feelings? And I think I've said this before on the Hive, but I get a sense that for many people, not everyone by any stretch, the only time they really talk about their true deep feelings for another person are when they're getting married, and you get the emotional speech from the father of the bride, and at their funeral, when it's too late, they can't hear you anymore. Or maybe they can, but they're not there in body. And I find that really sad, I find it sad that many people, maybe it's a cultural thing here, it's probably different in other cultures, but many people have so many people that they really love, respect, appreciate, and they never say it. And then they will come out at the funeral and say, oh gosh, I was so grateful for this person's friendship. I really respected this person. And all the gratitude and the love and the appreciation flows out. And it's too late, folks. So maybe you can give yourself a score on this as well. You've done the internal ones. If you're just joining us, as I notice a lot of people weren't there at the beginning, but you've joined now, maybe you can rewind if you're interested and have a look at the 6 internal scores out of 10 for your holistic well-being. And this one is more about relationship. And just give a scan and again, not judging, not beating yourself up, just being honest about how often and to how many different people in your life that matter to you do you give them authentic feedback about what you love, what you appreciate, what you respect, what you're grateful for that person. I think it's a wonderful gift to be able to do that just on a free basis. I don't know why, I always think there's one incident that I always think about when I'm pondering this topic. And it was a few years ago. I was in Manchester with a couple of friends and we were out in a bar restaurant on Deansgate. It's not really my scene, Deansgate, but that's where we were for some reason. And we were having some lunch, I think. And there was a chap playing the piano. Yeah, he'd been paid to be there, I presume, to entertain the diners and the drinkers. And he was, playing some lovely little light jazz numbers. And as we were leaving, we all got up and went to exit into the grey Manchester skies, as I imagine they were. and I went over to the pianist and I said, thank you. I just looked at him in the eye and it was lovely. His response was lovely. He smiled and I think he was surprised but also heartened to hear that someone had appreciated what he's doing, and just kind of looked around and all of the other people were either just taking it for granted what he was offering. He was offering a gift of his talents and his time. He was bringing something beautiful, enhancing the atmosphere, and everyone else, to me, just seemed to be either ignorant of it or taking it for granted. I didn't see one person say anything to him, but I always use that as an example. It's very present in my mind. I'm not really sure why, but I try and do that as much as possible. With my children. I was on the phone to my mum yesterday and trying to reflect back some of the good things that she does, the good qualities within her. We can all have a lot of self-doubt about ourselves and beat ourselves up, and it can make a really big difference to someone's day. Just saying thank you, or I really appreciate this in you, or I honour this quality in you. And I suppose that comes back all the way to the first self-care category that I talked about, which is how we talk to ourselves. It has a massive impact on how we see ourselves and how we feel. And it's the same with other people, Oh, noisy tractor, 1 minute. It's the same with other people. We can, just one little sentence, look at someone in the eye and say something that you're appreciative of within them. And I'm not talking about their hair style, the new hair or a new top or some lovely jewellery. That's just stuff. That's just a skin, an artificial skin. It's not about them as a person. That's a conditional. I've lost my doobrey. 1 minute. That would be a conditional compliment if we're saying, oh, your hair's looking nice today. Your hair's looking nice, or that's a lovely wristwatch you're wearing. What I'm talking about is their qualities. So reflecting back something of their character, something of who they are, and can make a massive difference. It only takes you 2 seconds, it could change their whole day, and who knows, even their whole life. It might even save a life. You never know, that person might be on the edge and close to taking their own life. I've known several people who've been in that situation, and a kind word from a stranger or a friend can change a life. So the power of words, folks. So I'll just give you one more example. Yesterday again, on a long phone call to my mum, and she was talking about someone who's she knows, that she's close to, who is an alcoholic, and they have had a bit of a difficult time. And if you can imagine what it's like in lockdown, this person is living in one bedroom basically, all their possessions piled up in one room, stuffy room with a window that doesn't open, and not able to go to the pub to get their fix, not able to see their friends, drinking buddies, whatever you want to call them. And my mum was actually really proud of this person, because over the past 10 weeks this person has been drinking less and seems to have kind of come to a more healthy way of being. Temporarily perhaps, but you know, it is what it is. 10 weeks of doing much better. So I said, well, that's great. Have you told this person what you just told me? Have you told them that you're proud of them? And she said, no, I haven't. And I said, well, maybe I invite you to consider doing so, because it could make a massive difference. Just reflecting that, I'm really proud of you. Last 10 weeks, it's been really difficult for you, but you've done so well. And that can give them a boost, self-esteem. It can also reinforce that positive behaviour. So the chances of someone continuing with that good behaviour, if they've had it validated and acknowledged by a third party, is a lot higher than if everyone ignores them and nobody noticed that they've done anything different. So yeah, carrots rather than stick. Carrot's probably not the right word. It's not about reward. It's just about recognising those qualities or that behaviour in that person. So there we are. I think that's all I wanted to say today. I suppose for myself, when I did the self-assessment on the Finding Love workshop, I was pleased that all of my scores were 7 to 9. I had 1 9 and the rest were kind of 7s and 8s. Might have been 1 6 in there. But I'm doing pretty well at the minute, you know, mental health wise, relationship wise, feeling really connected, comfortable in my skin. I've done a quick Google this morning because thinking of self-harming behaviours, which I've talked about in the past, I'm doing pretty well. I'm going to bed at a sensible time. I'm not overeating, apart from my blooming banana loaf addiction. I think I'm keeping Saurine in business. At least it's vegan. Anyway, I did a quick Google because there is one thing that I do from time to time, self-harm wise, which is, these noisy trucks, which is pulling hairs out. And I'm aware that this is a thing. It's a kind of nervous or mental health condition, and the actual technical name for it is Trichotillomania. So periodically I will pull hairs out of my beard, and this isn't just when I've got an actual beard. It's, you know, if I've not shaved for a couple of days, I'll be picking away, and normally it's here. So I named it to my son. I said, look, I've got a bald patch here, I've been picking my hairs out. This was a few weeks ago, and I stopped doing that. But then yesterday, for some reason, I was picking them out of here. Don't know why. Most of the time it was unconscious. So I had a little Google about what's behind that. It's just interesting. I'm not beating myself up about it, I'm just noticing. So there we go. Trichotillomania. Yeah. So I hope you have given yourself a score out of 10 for all those self-care things, and also the how do you talk to other people? Are you telling them how you really feel? And what I will do when I get home is make a note for 1 week's time to do the same talk and just have a little review and see where you are. See if the areas you wanted to improve have improved. And I'm not going to come down on you like a strict teacher and say, you have not improved. It's just for you, just to have a little scan of your life. And with the hope of doing your best towards improvement of areas that you'd like to improve. And we will slip, and that's okay. All we can do is our best. So I hope your Thursday is a wonderful one, full of joy and full of love and full of self-care and full of perhaps some new behaviours. Perhaps you can stretch out a bit and tell some people how you really feel about them, what you appreciate about them, before they're dead. Don't wait for the funeral. Do it now, because you never know when the funeral's coming and it's too late then. So, let me know what you think. If you want to share what your scores are, please do so. If you don't, that's fine too. But have a good Thursday, and hopefully see you at 8 o'clock for Leon the Pig Farmer, otherwise known as Jack Horner. He's got a wonderful story to tell. Very interesting and hopefully inspirational to you all. So take care, have a good Thursday. Bye for now.